the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I was thinking it was June.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I would ask anybody that wants to testify to remain standing and be sworn in at this time.
If you're going to testify, that's in the audience, if you'll stand and raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our first order is election of new officers.
And just so the board knows, if on nominations you do not need a second, if there's only one nominee, then that person by default would take that office.
Kirk, do you want to be president again?
Sure.
I'll nominate you.
Done.
Second.
He just said we don't need a second.
Oh.
Next time there'll be a test. Is anybody else interested?
Guess not.
You got it.
You got it, buddy.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Chairman.
Vice Chairman nominations.
I nominate the estimable Frank Pizzicello.
I second it, if you have to. You're it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it, and I'm going to try to do the best I can.
You'll be vice president, sit down there, all right?
That's okay. I don't care.
Good.
I'll trade places with you if you want.
Wait, next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, that takes care of that.
Thank you very much, fellow colleagues. Appreciate it.
Let's move on to the minutes from December's meeting. Does anyone have any corrections or motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Staff, do we have any additions or deletions?
I have several deletions.
Good.
Going to number 6, Section B, Case 1A.
Section 6.
B,
6B, 1A.
1A. It's the citation number 0821T. I'm pulling it as in compliance, and civil penalty has been paid.
Could you give us a name on that?
It's the first one.
Not easily.
You just want him to pronounce it, don't you?
I'm fine. Have you found it?
First one on page 2.
On two.
Let's see.
Is that all?
No, I have more.
What's the
okay.
name?
Okay.
What is the name?
Can I help?
Yes, please.
Aurelio Massavichute.
Wow.
See there?
Okay.
Say that 3 times for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, also Case D, John Anthony Laporte, care of Trevor.
Okay.
Also H, Fan Too Young. And lastly, I, Ansel Brown.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm looking. Under item B, J, Michael Stiles, 2316 15th Avenue, pulled the case, complied, and civil penalty has been paid. Item L, Anchor Commercial Bank, 2365 16th Avenue, property has a new owner and is in compliance. Item N, Gerald Fulcini Enterprises, 1255 26th Street, Lot 2. Properties in compliance and the civil penalty has been paid.
All right, thank you.
And then also items 6A, 2, and 3, case 15 CE 1747 and 1748. They'll be heard at the next hearing.
Okay.
What happened? Okay, these go to the
16.
next. What happened to them?
You said item 6.
6A2 and 6A3.
On the
Ken
on page
Davin.
1 at the bottom.
Okay. Well, I don't have it.
Okay.
I don't have it.
Next year.
2 and 3, page 1.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
2 and 3. They will
I'm
go
sorry.
to the next meeting.
Okay, very good. I heard 6. I didn't hear.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
All right, I need a motion to adopt our agenda as modified.
I'll make that motion, sir.
Second.
Okay, moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we'll start with case number 15-CE-6150. Is that you?
Aurelia, that's my wife.
Aurelia, okay. Thank you.
Here.
We're married.
Oh, that's fine. We'll let the staff, the city, present their case first, and then you can come up and speak.
In the case of 0817T 15CE6150, requesting a cost of prosecution of $64.67 and the citation at $1,050. It's for tree removals without a permit. The gentleman has removed 3 pines and 1 palm without a permit. He was cited. He did, in fact, after the fact, get a permit. The planning department normally requires mitigation in the way of money or replacement. They've waived it because the trees were damaged. However, the citation still remains unpaid, which they did not waive. That's, as I understand it, he disputes the amount of the citation, not necessarily the act.
Okay. You can come up here. Yeah, please. Yes.
And the amount was $1,050?
Correct.
Thank you. You know, I just want to start off by saying that
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
One time to state your name and your
Oh,
address.
sure. Michael Merrill, 1824 24th Avenue, Vero Beach, Florida is where this property is. We live in a different address, but we purchased this home about 6 or 7 months ago for a friend of ours to live in, and we went to get insurance. We brought our insurance agent out, and they wouldn't give us insurance because of the condition of the pine trees that were on our property. One of them was about 5 feet from our house and was lifting the slab, and the other 2 were the trunks were rotated over. So while we were out there, we had a guy redoing our fence who said, I've got somebody who can take these trees down. This was the weekend that we were having 35 to 40 mile an hour winds. We said, great. He said he's a certified arborist. His name was Nick Love. He said, great, we can have this taken down this weekend and get it taken care of for you, and it would be done. Great. To come and say that we didn't know that we didn't need to have a permit is not an excuse, and that's not one that I'm going to use. But to prove that I really didn't know, we had another issue with Tom that we were working on with him, and we actually called Tom to come out and check on that while we had a front yard full of cut down pine trees. So we kind of threw the flag on ourselves on that. So I hope that kind of proves that we really didn't know. But we also had Gail come out, and I just asked her to take a look and explain the situation. She saw that our house was getting damaged by the one tree, and the other 2 were in danger. They're huge pine trees, and they were in danger of falling over. So we come here today just asking for some relief on the fine. She gave us relief on the mitigation, agreed that they needed to come down. I can guarantee you I'll never be here again for a tree issue or hopefully any other issues. But again, having said that, I just ask that we get some relief from the citation.
Did your arborist, Nick Love, know that he was supposed to have a permit?
Well, that was the first call that I made after we talked to Tom, and he said, we didn't know in this county. We usually work in Sebastian.
That's the same county.
Or in the town of Sebastian, where we don't need to have a permit, is what he told us. I 100% would have gotten a permit if I would have known, but again, I don't want to come here and say I didn't know, because that's a completely stupid defense. And we really did it because this tree was going down, and we have neighbors, and the winds were blowing that weekend, and we said, let's get this thing out of here. So that's really the reason we did it. And if it costs us $1,050, we understand. We hope that you would just see our side of the.
Tell them how that was
Tom, could you read the decision that the group made that you read to us about They agree with cutting down the trees? Is that correct?
I brought the planning department out to the to the site, to his home, and she passed and decided to waive the mitigation cost because in the pictures that I provided her show her that the trees were in fact damaging or damaged.
Okay. But she still wants a penalty.
Correct. He still is required to get a permit. Even if they were dead, he would be required to get a permit. She's
Roberts
waived.
would've known that.
Which we did get the permit after.
And what?
Right.
How much does a permit cost?
It's $40, I think.
$40. Okay.
And you did get a permit.
Yes, sir.
After the
We
fact,
paid
yes.
double the permit fee and got the permit.
I'm just not sure, and Mr. Common, maybe you know, the code dictates the amount that I cited him for. I don't know that I could change that necessarily. I don't even know if the board.
No, you can't, but the board would have some authority there.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
was
did
he-
he pay double permit fees?
Correct.
Was he pretty quick to, responsive, taking care of
Yes.
getting the permit?
Yes. I've had no problems at all with his family at all.
I wouldn't have a problem.
I happen to think that the man is on sound footing in that he was told these trees had to go. The permit situation is a different situation. I believe there should be a small penalty, but certainly nowhere near $1,000. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
I agree.
Well, he's paid a penalty and he paid double the permit fee
Okay.
already.
Okay.
Paid 40 twice.
Anybody have a suggestion?
Just for clarification, a tree permit is $20. The 40 is the double permit fee.
Oh, okay.
Is it per tree or
per
total?
permit.
Not per application.
Oh, I got you.
That's some mitigation where they.
I just happen to believe the man is on sound footing based upon what I've heard. So I would make a motion to whatever he has paid would be sufficient at this time. So
Well,
that's my
You're
motion.
willing to include the cost of prosecution in that?
Yeah,
as well?
the officer is entitled to recover the cost of prosecution at the minimum.
Absolutely. That would be part of it.
I'll accept that. I'll second that.
But there would need to be a finding there was a violation, it was corrected,
Okay.
and you're
All right.
not imposing any civil penalty, but you are
About
imposing the cost of...
$50.
You know all the stuff that is on the cheat.
You make the statement.
All right, I'll make a motion then that there was a violation and it has since been corrected, and that the board issue an order. Oh, we're not issuing an order.
Yes.
Yes, we are. The board issue an order for payment of the cost of prosecution of $64.67, and that the double permit fee stand in place of a fine.
And I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Now, don't come back.
Right. And Happy New Year.
Okay, case number 15-CE-6206, William Joseph Brown.
This is a citation that was issued by the police department for the noise ordinance. Don't have an officer here right
And
now.
in this
Mr.
one,
Brown is here.
apparently there was no hearing requested, so the violation would have been admitted.
Hi, William Brown. This is kind of a funny story, but it was a situation where I was given some misleading information from one police officer. We were fined for a noise violation across the street at the Patio Seafood Tavern, and in the process, the fine was misplaced, and that's why I received the summons to come here. But I'm willing to accept responsibility and pay the fine.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty easy.
Isn't it?
Do we even need to do anything?
No, if he's just going to pay the civil penalty to the clerk's office, that closes the case.
Okay.
So I just need to make
Thank
a trip
you.
to the clerk's office. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right, case 15-CE-5770, Justin Russell Flincham and Randall Flincham.
The property has changed hands. The new owner is Sharon Flincham. She has entered into a code compliance agreement with the city, and the property will come into compliance by February 15th.
Okay.
So no action necessary.
May I ask, when they come into compliance, what will that entail?
It involves an inspection of the garage apartment and verifying that it is no longer being used as a dwelling unit.
Thank you.
Okay, this case is open, though, so how do you want to close it? Are you going to withdraw a citation? Do you want the board to enter an order that it's...
I've withdrawn the citation based on the code compliance.
Okay, and Sherry, you've got something on that already, or have you already filed a... Okay.
We can just table it till February, verify that it's in compliance.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
I would like to table it until then to
Actually,
make sure.
On this case, you issued them her a different citation number, so that won't have anything to do with this case number.
Okay,
so we need to
then-
take care of this case first.
All right, then this one will be rescinded also. Actually, this one he has already paid, so he's in compliance, and this case is in compliance. My error.
So we could eliminate this one.
So the board will take no action. If there's some issue, you can bring it back next month.
Correct.
Okay.
Next case, 15-CE-1146, Francisco Flores.
This case came before the board last month for a fence that was installed without a code compliance from the city or a building permit. The fence was installed at a mobile home at the Citrus Mobile Home Park. In order to apply for a building permit, they have to get permission from the airport as the property owner. We're having a bit of a language problem, and then I have been in touch with Lisa as the admin at the airport, and the trailer itself has changed hands and has issues, so I'm asking, can we pull this for another 30 days to try to straighten out ownership issues?
Sure, I think so. She's here, though, it appears.
She's here. But
Wonderful.
the board had issued an order to correct within 30 days.
Can we continue that, or
You certainly can.
okay? Well,
Continue it another month.
I'd make a motion that we continue our existing order for another 30 days.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. 15-CE-6138. Is this you, Tom? Or? Viking Tree and Landscaping Services? No, that's...
Melody.
Viking tree.
Can we skip ahead? I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's fine.
while she's talking to them. We'll come back, really. Oh. 15-CE-6204, Betty Smith. Is that you? Yes. Okay. And you?
I got it.
In the case of 15-CE-6204, citation number 0818T, Betty Smith. This was a situation where there was construction without a permit. It was a re-roof along with soffits and eaves and things of that nature. No permit was garnered. I issued a citation. She paid the citation. Part of the process for her to come into compliance was permitting. It has yet to be permitted.
Okay.
So citations paid, permits still outstanding. I'll be asking for costs and continued penalties.
For the cost of prosecution.
I'm sorry. Cost of prosecution was $51.10, and the continued penalty until the permit is gathered at $50 a day.
Okay.
And where is it now at this point?
Just where it's always been. The citation's paid, but the permitting has not been applied for.
So $50 a day started.
Starting the date that it became, the permit became active. Just 1 second.
That would be the day after the compliance date on your citation.
Compliance date was December 4th. It is the board's discretion on imposition of continuing penalties. And whether or not you're going to allow additional time to correct or whatever.
So it'd be from 12/5 forward.
Are you Mrs. Smith?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Would you?
Betty Smith is my name. When I was issued the citation, I thought that I could get the permit when I got a licensed roofer. That's what I thought. I mean, I didn't know that I had to pay it before I got the licensed roofer because the person that did it wasn't licensed.
I understand.
Have you subsequently hired a licensed roofer?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would probably be your first or the next step to.
The cost I've been looking.
Oh, I'm sure.
And how much?
Anyone?
How much at this moment is owed in penalty?
It's up to us.
I know, but what would it be if it was adjudicated today?
Since December 5th, roughly over a month's worth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
30, 40 days.
At $50
And
a day.
I didn't hear the whole conversation, but you're going for a permit or you have a permit now?
No, I don't have one.
And when are you going to get one?
Soon, now, tomorrow, today, yes.
Today?
Today.
And do you have
Today.
some roofers that you've selected and have called and
Well, I have two that came out, but it's, like I said, it's kind of expensive. So I'm looking for someone in my daughter's area in Orlando.
Okay.
So-
And the house is here in Vero and
Vero,
Indian River County?
1745,
Okay.
41st Avenue.
Can I make a suggestion here? Do you think you can pay that for that permit today?
Yes.
Could we put this in abeyance till she pays for it and comes back at the end of the day, and we could then
I don't
finish
think
it
that's
off?
going to be a
I
possibility.
think it's going to be that quick.
Okay.
She's dealing with
They
the
don't
building
happen that
department here.
Okay. All right. So what do we suggest to her to?
And also, the application, I didn't fill it out. Well, I went to get it, and he gave it to me, but I didn't fill it out because he's not a licensed roofer. So I would have been lying,
Yeah.
saying,
Well,
because he's not a contractor.
appreciate your honesty, but that might have been a red flag to you as well. That
Right.
next time.
Who was doing the work? Is it a relative?
My niece's boyfriend.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't own he isn't one of the owners of the property.
No, I own the property.
Okay. Yeah, you could do it, but he can't without being licensed.
I can do the roof?
Yeah.
You could do an
As the owner, you can.
builder permit. Try going to the building department and getting your permit that way.
Oh, okay.
And if they don't let you do it as an owner builder, then you do have to get a licensed roofer to apply for your permit, because they'll want to have your NOAs and structural attachments and everything. Are you dried in right now? Are you dry?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's not leaking.
Okay.
So what needs to be done now?
Permit.
Just
Permit.
a permit.
I mean,
permit.
the
It's
work's all
finished.
done.
It's just,
Oh, the work's all done.
yes, ma'am.
So permits and inspections.
That would be the most economical thing that Mr. Bryant suggested.
How long would it take to get a permit in a normal time?
In a normal period through a licensed roofer, it might take 7 to 14 days, because they have to apply for everything and
Okay.
do it. But owner builder, it might go quicker, and you could probably list it as owner repaired.
Okay. ownership.
Listed owner repaired,
Yes, sir.
that you did it.
But was the whole roof torn off?
No, the oak tree had fallen through
Okay.
a branch, so it was leaking.
Oh, so it was just part of the
Yes,
roof
sir.
that you had to fix.
Did your
Yes, sir.
insurance cover it?
No, ma'am.
Son of a gun.
No.
Ouch.
Well, I'd make a motion that we table this and bring it back at next month's meeting for review.
Can I suggest that you order correction?
Okay, we can do that. I think that's going to happen.
Well, if you order correction, that way it's a affirmative order
We're
to
on
get
record.
it taken care of. And I would suggest your board's next meeting is the 10th. If she was to have it all taken care of by February 5th, that'd be the Friday before.
Is that okay?
I can, yes.
Okay.
So
Yes.
Then I'll revise my motion a little. I'll make a motion that there's a violation and it continues to exist, and that we're going to issue an order for you to pay the $51.10 cost of prosecution. That's for his time.
Yes.
And that you get everything corrected by February 5th,
Yes, I will.
which is just prior to our next month's
Yes,
meeting.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Sure.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.
year.
Bye.
Oh, they left.
I didn't realize it took that long to get a permit.
Hey, you did it good.
I built a house.
They don't have to be here.
In New Jersey.
What?
The CO
We skipped the tree guys that were here.
He is verifying that his application is going to be approved and that mitigation will not be required.
Okay, should we
He'll be back
move
in a
on
minute.
to, okay. And we'll move on to 15-CE-6189, Phyllis Duffy.
15 CE 61890840T was a citation that was written for overgrowth on the property in excess of 12 inches. Citation is outstanding at $50. My costs are $51.10, and I'm requesting continued penalty. This is a property, it's a chronic problem property for me.
Okay.
In other words, it's still that way?
Correct.
Is that a repeat violation or?
It's not a repeat. It's just one that I continually have to monitor.
So you'd want an order to correct and to impose the continuing penalties and the original penalty?
And costs.
And what was the cost? I'm sorry.
$51.10.
That's a familiar number.
You don't have a rubber stamp, do you?
My time's my time.
All right, I'll make a motion then that there is a violation. The violation continues to exist. The board issue an order to correct the violation, to pay the $50 civil penalty, and to pay $50 a day continuing penalties, as well as the $51.10 cost of prosecution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now we can be through quick.
15-CE-6078, City Mortgage, Cecil R. Bays.
I can address that one.
Oh,
This one was in front of you last month, and in fact, the bank had a representative here, and of course, he was arguing that City Mortgage shouldn't be on there because they didn't have possession of the property. They had cut the grass and weeds at one point, and I know the board felt that they should still be held accountable, but I talked with their attorneys quite a bit after that, and even though it's only I think a $50 or $100 civil penalty, I have to agree with them that they should not be on the order because they don't have legal possession and they're not obligated to take care of the property. They only have the right to go in there and take care of the property. And the only reason I didn't really address it too much at the last meeting was because that very day it was supposed to be sold at public auction because of the mortgage foreclosure. It's sold, but then the buyer backed out. So it's back on the market. It's, I believe, February 1st is going to be the next sale. But I told them I would bring this because we want to go ahead and record this order. Because remember, anybody that's named as a violator on the order, it becomes a lien on everything they own. And obviously Citibank doesn't want to lien on some bank branch they have, in town or in the state.
Well, I'm sure they don't.
So they're right. They really shouldn't be named. They aren't in possession. They don't have control of the property really. So my request is just the board okay that we bring redo the order and have it without Citibank, City Mortgage as one of the violators. They're still going to get notice of it, but they just wouldn't be listed as a violator.
So it would just be Cecil R. Bays?
It's just be Cecil R. Bays, and then we'll go ahead and record that order. And quite frankly, what happened, the buyer at auction, they apparently didn't do their due diligence because after they had won the bid, they called Sherry and found out how much is owed, something like $26,000 or something between penalties and remediation that the city has done. And so that's why they backed out. They forfeited their deposit, which I think was 10% of the selling price, and I think they only were going to pay something like $10,000 or $12,000 for the whole property. But then when they found out all these liens and penalties, they backed out and just forfeited their deposit. And
so essentially, the liens and penalties are more than the value of the property.
Well, it's
actually 5 lots.
Yeah, it's actually a large parcel, but for whatever reason, they were buying it sight unseen and had not done their homework, and they decided that they didn't want to invest that kind of money in it. So. Anyway, if the board is agreeable with that, we'll just have the order issued without the City Mortgage name on it as a violator. And what that order was it was an order to pay the $100 penalty is all it was.
I'll make a motion to redo the order and to take city mortgage off the citation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Rutherford is on his way back in. Viking Tree Service, at the end of last week, applied for the permit. My understanding is the permit will be approved, and the planning department will not require mitigation. So that brings him into compliance. At the last meeting, the board assigned him the $1,000 fine as dictated by the ordinance, $500 per tree. Is the board interested in offsetting that down to $500? Mr. Rutherford is a young man who has invested in the community by doing business. His wife is a teacher. I think he has plans to stay. He also has gotten very good at communicating with me regarding what requires permits. So would the board be inclined to take his fine to $500 as opposed to $1,000?
I think that's a great suggestion.
I want to know about the tree. Is it going to be something going to be replaced? How's that going to be?
No, we're not asking for mitigation. Planning department has waived mitigation.
Huge tree.
There were two big
There were two trees.
And they weren't thick.
No.
Why, Michelle raises a good point. Why won't the trees be replaced, which seems very important? Any idea?
Asked planning department to work with Mr. Rutherford and not require
Rutherford might be
mitigation
able to
in
shed
light
some
of
light
his
on that.
fines.
Yeah, there's criteria they look at, and often there's already so many trees on the property that they won't require replacements. And a lot of times the trees are removed because that's where a structure is going to be built. And to make them and that's why there's an option in the code, either pay or replace.
Well, let me ask this question, sir. How many trees were on the property, and why was that particular tree or trees removed?
She has a lot. It's overgrown. I can't count how many that were on her property. And what's documented on this planning and development, they said the hollow branches, yellow leaves, and what few left damaged from hurricanes, as bad as ones on Victoria on her property.
That is actually written in by the homeowner regarding the condition of the trees. The homeowner wanted the trees removed. That was why Mr. Rutherford was hired.
Yeah. So that's why they were removed.
I am looking at the picture. I'm also very concerned after the limbs were cut down that they were left in the right-of-way, and we discussed that last month.
Yes,
that
sir.
should never happen again, in my opinion.
Yes, sir. We're trying to work on that.
I will speak for Mr. Rutherford. I do not believe that will ever happen again.
No, it's not.
Now, did Mr. Rutherford pay for the city to come and pick up those huge trees out of the road and dispose of them?
When you do the order today, you will assess that cost to him. That was brought up at the last meeting, that he will be responsible for
You
that.
actually, in your last order, you assessed $141.38 for the solid waste department's expense. And you had imposed $1,000 as the civil penalty on the citation, but I think I'm hearing a reduction to $500 would be agreeable with the officer. And I guess there was no other cost of enforcement you were asking for. Is that correct?
No.
Okay.
Do we need a new motion then, or?
Well,
a
I
new
think
order, or
what you're
how does it
asking
work?
for is the fine that it has been corrected by after-the-fact permits, and if you're inclined to do so, reducing the total civil penalty to $500, but still assessing the $141.38.
How much was the last number you?
$141.38.
You want me to make the motion?
And how about the city's time to go out there?
That's
Not asking for enforcement.
She hasn't asked for it, and what they do is they file an affidavit of costs, and they haven't done that, so they're not requesting it.
You want to make the motion? I'll make it if you don't.
Jump right in. Come on.
I motion to keep it at $1,000. I mean, those are two pretty hefty trees, and it really hurts our city. And I understand he's going to have a lot of opportunities to make more money in his field, and this is a lesson that it was a hard one to learn. And that's my opinion, and
I hear you.
my motion to keep it at 1,000 plus the 141.38, and there it is. Plus, he doesn't have to mitigate. He's getting out of that.
Well, I don't think he would have to pay the mitigation anyway, since he's not a property owner.
Oh, okay.
Mr. McGarry is stating that the trees were dead and that no mitigation is required and that we should not have the fine, if I understood correctly.
Well,
He's saying they're dead? They were dead?
Yeah.
And that is why there was no mitigation required.
Yeah, they don't do that for no reason. Usually, they like money.
I think
He hasn't.
1,000.
So what? Mr. McGarry just said he would waive the fine altogether.
I think so.
Okay.
I didn't hear
Does
that
anybody
conversation.
wanna
I didn't hear the conversation
Second
back
Mr.
and
Bryant's
forth.
motion.
Wait a minute, he didn't hear.
I didn't hear.
Melanie, if you get to the mic so he could understand what you're
I couldn't
saying
hear you,
to him.
Melanie.
You want Tim to come back down?
Yeah.
If the trees were dead, that's a different story.
Catherine Plank, could you get Tim McGarry to come back down, please?
Mr. Rutherford, do you have anything else while we're waiting? Or are you?
No, I have a couple pictures that might help y'all that are showing that they're dead, full of mistletoe, and
How come that never came up before now, that they were dead?
I tried last time, and I didn't want to have argument, and so trying to be peaceful. I didn't really know what was going on last time.
Oh, they're dead. They're dead.
Did you see that?
Unfortunately, even if they're dead, they still requires a permit to remove.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, unfortunately, even if they are dead, a permit's required to remove.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we obtained.
And you have a permit now in your hand, right? So
Yeah.
And that was a $40 tree removal, double the 20? Or how much was the permit?
Excuse me, can I interrupt for just 1 minute? Of course. Were you sworn in? No. You were not sworn in?
I don't remember if they were here.
Testimony you shall give and have given.
What?
Testimony you've given and have given and giving.
Yeah, after the fact.
You can fix it.
Okay, I'm going to need to swear you in.
Yeah.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Would you care to share those pictures with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lives all day.
We need copies of those pictures.
Yeah, if you're
though.
going to show those pictures, I need a copy for the record, so.
Give that to her.
You can email it to her. Or... Sir, can you give me your email address or something so I can?
Is that the only picture you have?
I have a couple more.
Even this black and white picture.
You're going to email those to?
Yeah.
Okay. It would be Philo, Philo, at covb.org.
At CO.
VB for Vero Beach.org.
.org. SPHILO. Okay. All right. At COVB.org. Okay. All right.
No, you can pass it around.
Yeah. You want to send them? Okay.
Yeah, if I remember, you hired someone to cut the tree down. Is that right?
So he's the hiree.
He is.
No.
Yeah, she hired multiple people on that property to cut and remove the trees from that property.
Mitigation is not required because the trees were dead.
Okay.
And what was the position on the civil penalty?
Board's discretion.
I think that makes it very similar to the case we just heard. In which case, I'd make a motion that.
Oh, you have
a motion on the floor.
You had a motion that died.
Yeah,
I
but
guess,
there wasn't a second. I
Right,
didn't.
so it died for like a
Right.
second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to make the second so that we can have a discussion on your motion. Let's discuss it. If anybody, like myself, I'm kind of torn. Okay, originally I thought a compromise of 500, but no mitigation, and the way these things were thrown onto the street and the right of way, I have to really think about it. I just can't say yes or no at this point after, and I've looked at your picture there. Those limbs I'm not an arborist, but those limbs did not look dead to me. Maybe the trunks were dead, but those limbs were pretty colorful. But I'd like to hear what other board members might be saying, and that's why I made the second to have a discussion.
I remember, before I was even elected to the board, driving around this, and I couldn't believe that the city let them take the oaks down, because I remember them sitting there in the road, half cut off, not completed like the picture shows. And I'm like, how in the world were they able to get that? And now it's come up that they're dead.
I think
but the branches and everything are still green. You got to do what you keep them as long as you can until they're actually really, dead. And then at the last meeting, you had said that they're within 10 feet of the house. They're clearly not 10 feet within the house. 10 feet is from me, a little less than me to you right now. And they were, more 15 to 20 feet away, from the house, just by eyeballing it on the drive-by after last meeting.
I would suggest that this gentleman show us those pictures. I saw just one. I'd like to see a few more to make up my mind, if that's possible.
Well, the city's already made the determination that the trees were dead.
No, I've paid double.
He has a permit.
Fines.
So, in essence, had everything been done correctly, he would have gotten the permit beforehand. He wouldn't even be here, and the trees would be gone, without paying for mitigation or providing new trees.
Well,
just like the previous case that was before, he paid double on his fines, and that's it.
He didn't leave a mess.
Well, that's part of his fine.
Yeah.
He's already paid for that.
I'd like to compromise on things. We have 500, we have 1,000. I'd like to go 750 if that could get through, just as a form of a compromise to get this thing underway. If anybody wants to discuss that as part of Mr. Bryant's motion.
Do you want to amend your motion?
I would go with the 750.
And I make a motion.
Compromise that.
Okay, so you're going to amend your motion?
Yeah, he's amending his motion.
Amending his motion.
Okay, amend it then, sir. And I'll second it. Mr. Bryant, do you want to?
He did.
Did he amend it?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
I amended
Then I
it.
seconded it to 750.
Well, I guess we got to vote. You want to call the roll on this one?
I can. Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Whitall?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
No.
Mr. McGann?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Mr. Pizzicello?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
No.
It passes 5-2.
Sorry.
So what do I do? Appeal this since the city said that it was dead, and
That's your recourse is go
previous
to
cases.
city council. Yeah.
No, it goes circuit court.
Oh, he has to go to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can go to council and try to.
You
get
can
the
always go to
fine
city
lowered.
council to ask for a reduction.
Yeah.
But to actually appeal the action of the board here, it's in the appellate division of the circuit court.
The city council can lower the fine.
And then you have the other cases that were here today that were similar that didn't pay for anything either.
Right. That'll be, you can download that online.
Each case
the
stands on
minutes.
its own, though, unfortunately.
Okay.
The other one wasn't a commercial business. It was a property owner, I believe.
Where's the property owner for this property?
I don't
Yeah,
know. She wasn't cited, apparently.
All right, without seeing the other pictures too?
All right. I think we're done. Anybody have any other business?
Anything else?
Meeting adjourned.
Okay.